Chapter 34 is not a very fun one. It starts off with the assault of one of Jacob's daughters. She's taken by someone from another land, and then all of her brothers, or Jacob's other sons, go in and then trick the entire city of the man who committed the assault. It says she was defiled. And he uses the actual word. I'm not going to say it because it's YouTube/TikTok, and I don't think it's allowed. But that's how the chapter opens up. And then they go in and trick the man. The man who did it wanted to marry the daughter. And they propose, he and his dad, who's like a king, I think a king, or at least someone who's overseeing the land, proposes that they intertwine their families. So give your daughter to my son in marriage, and then you guys can marry our daughters. They're basically using them all as bargaining chips and for what they want. The women don't really have a say in anything that happens here. Jacob's sons then say that they'll do it as long as the two guys, the father and the son, and everyone in their city gets circumcised. Circumcision is something that was established as a covenant with God earlier in Genesis. They say, go ahead and do that, and we'll intermarry. So they have them all do that. They all get circumcised. They somehow convince a whole city of men to do it. And then while they're recovering, it literally says while they were still in pain, like a couple days later, 3 days later, while all of them were still in pain, two of the sons go in and slaughter all of them. Kill all of them, even though they had nothing to do with the original or the initial situation. They then loot the entire city, take the women and children for themselves, and kind of ride off into the sunset. Jacob gets upset because he says, what have you done? You've brought trouble on me by making me obnoxious to the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the two different people who were subjected to all of this. And his biggest concern, as usual, is selfish. He says, we are few in number. If they join forces against me and attack me, I and my household will be destroyed. His concern is not for his daughter. He doesn't even mention her, who is kind of the root of all of this. So that situation was the root of the whole thing. Jacob's sons say, should he have treated our sister like a prostitute? So even though I don't think you should be killing an entire city in response to the situation, like the argument of what should have been done to the man or the perpetrator is one thing, but then going and slaying an entire city while they're completely defenseless because they made them agree to the circumcision, that is pretty questionable to me. I don't understand why that's not talked about or people defend it, because I think that's wrong handling it that way, to be explicit. But Jacob doesn't even seem concerned with his daughter. Like, at least the guys, even if you don't agree with them killing an entire city, or you do, at least they're concerned with their sister. Jacob's just like, you've made me obnoxious. That's literally what he says, but in Hebrew. And his only concern is that he might get attacked and that his house might be destroyed. Yeah, like I said in the long form video, that's just a weird chapter. It wasn't very fun to read, and I don't understand a lot of it.